Alright, welcome to this day 7 of the Data Day challenge on functional programming. My name is Kome. So the first challenge that we are going to look at is we have to group this array of items by category value. For example, all A items should be grouped along with key A, and all B items should be grouped along with key B. Okay. So let's look at this. This is data we received from the database. So how are we going to look at to do this? We are going to use two approaches. The first approach is the immutable version, and the other one is the second approach is the immutable version. So for the immutable version, we'll be using the push to push items to the array based on their category value. So here I'm going to make use of the reduce. The immutable version, reduce, and then I will pass in the accumulator, then the item. So inside here, inside this arrow function, I will have the callback there, and then I will initialize my accumulator to an empty object the first time. So I will finish it like that at the reduce. So inside here, I'm going to check if items, or if the category, if the accumulated, I'm going to check if the accumulated values have item category. If it doesn't exist, then I would simply return an empty array. So I'll come inside here and return. I'll expand this a little bit. I'll return an empty array. So I'll say accumulated item dot category, not return, but I will assign that to an empty array like that for purposes of grouping. So if then it's not empty, it means then there's something inside there. So accumulator item dot category, we will add on to it dot push. We'll push in the item to the other items in that category, and then of course we will return the accumulator with all the accumulated values. So I can put the semicolons, or fail to put them, still okay. So I'll come here and try to run this. Moving to level 2. So here we are going to use the custom group by custom grouping function. So instead of grouping by category like we did before, we are grouping now by whatever is returned by the group function. So here we are going to use again the reduce, takes accumulator, the item, and then we'll have our callback there, and then we'll have to initialize the accumulator to an empty object like that. So again, we'll come and test if there's no value, or if there's no value in now, instead of now the category, we look at the group function, whatever is returned by the group function, and then pass in the item. If this does not then exist, then we'll come and initialize it to an empty array. So accumulator, then group function item. This one will be initialized to an empty array for purposes of grouping. Otherwise, if it exists, then you are going to use it, accumulator, the group function item. So we use that as the key, and then you'll say dot push, and then you're going to push the item as well, and then return the accumulated values for the accumulated value. So I'll run this and see. Good. Moving to step 3. So here now we have to apply the transform and the group function at the same time. So the group function will show us whatever we group by, and then the transform function will transform values so that you can assign them as values of the to the keys produced by the group function. So here I will make use of the reduce again, accumulator item. I'll make use of this. Remember, these are the mutable versions because we are making use of the push. So again, initialize this as the empty array object to hold that. So inside here, I'm going again to check if the accumulator has nothing in its group function item, then it means I'll have to come here and assign my accumulator and then the key group function item. I'll have to come there and assign this to an empty array. Otherwise, if it exists, then I'll say accumulator group function item. I will push in the items. Remember, here I'm meditating the original array. Push, and then instead of pushing items directly, I will call the transform function item like that, and then return the accumulated values. So I'll run this. Good, I created them. Now that was the mutable versions because we made use of the push. What if we wanted now to spread so that the items themselves are not manipulated directly? What would we do? I will reset this so that now I can start again afresh. So now I want to make use of the spread or to create the mutable versions, the functional programming way. The immutable versions, sorry. So here I'm going to make use of the reduce. I want to let's go to the junior first, the junior code, junior dev. I'll come here, group by items by category. So I'll say items dot reduce, have the accumulated value and the item. So inside here I'm going to make use of a single statement there. So I'll initialize this to an empty array as well. An empty array of an empty object, sorry, as well. That is the accumulated value. So inside here I'll come and spread in the accumulated values, and then I'll also try to merge that with whatever is returned here. So I'll have an array with item dots category as the key. This one then will be assigned to whatever is in this array here. So inside here I'm going to first of all spread the accumulated item dot category, the existing items category. I'm going to spread them. Otherwise, if they don't exist, I'll just return an empty array, and then I will merge that with I also return the item, so that now the item is merged as well there. So let's run this and see. Moving to level 2. Again here we group by custom grouping function. So again, item dot reduce, accumulated value, and then the item, we have the callback. So you make use of a single statement again. This is the initial accumulator value. So inside here I'll have my curly brace, and then I'll write the code there. So I'll come and spread. Remember, the spread helps us to stop or to create a new array upon which to do the mutation. So I'll spread the accumulator there, and then I'll have to group by item dot. Instead of the category, I'll say I'll call the group function and pass in the item. And then inside here I will come to this and create an array there, where now I'll come and spread whatever is existing in the accumulator. Okay, so accumulator group function item, I'll spread whatever is existing there. Otherwise, if there's nothing, I'll return an empty array like that. and then I will close it like that. So this is where we have the group item, and then or empty array. We return the existing items or an empty array, and then from there you come and merge this with the item. But now yes, with the item. I think that one also will work. Good. Moving to step 3. The last one, let's transform now and group accordingly using now the immutable way. So items again dot reduce accumulator, and then I have the item. I'll make use of the arrow function here, and I initialize my accumulator value to an empty object the first time. So inside here, it's where I run my code. So I'll come and print the accumulator values, and then item, I will have the item, I'll call the group function, where I'll pass in the item so that now it gives me whatever to group by, and then this one will be grouped by this array here. Again, the same song and dance that we did the other time. So inside here, I'll come and sprint. You can move this up a little bit. You can come and sprint here, accumulated value, then group function item. I'll sprint the existing values in that category, or that category returned by the group function here, or I will return simply an empty array like that. So and then I'll merge this with the item, but now the items must be returned by whatever is returned by the transform function here. So the transform function, whatever is returned there as the items is what will be merged here, and I think having done that we will be good to go. So I run the test. Good. I already created the 3 challenges. One using the mutable way, using the push, and the other one using the sprint, which is the immutable version. If this helped you so much, don't forget to like my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter at KomeKelvinK, and let's discuss there on more on this functional programming. You can also try this challenge at pilco.devsip.tech to master your way up on functional programming and become a master in it, and use it in your code to make it not only composable, readable, maintainable, but also efficient. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.